What's up, guys? It's Chris back in the driveway with another video. Today we have this Pittsburgh Deluxe Headlight Renew Kit, and it's available from Harbor Freight for $14.99. Let's see what this kit can do. As you can see, the lights of the Dakota are back to the oxidized state that they were. I did use the Meguiar's kit about 2 years ago, lasted about a year, and I just didn't get a chance to redo these headlights. We're going to see how this kit works out, and for $14.99, you can't beat it on the price. Let's see what it does. Very simple. We have a little polishing pad, base for our discs, some tape, and some compound. So they give you some 500 grit discs, as well as some 800 and some 3000, and you can see they'll have the number right here, so you can tell exactly which pad you're using. Very bare bone, simple instructions, little bit of polishing compound, and shouldn't take you that long. It says you supply a drill, detail cloth, spray bottle, and water. Um, we're going to do a couple things a little differently. We're going to clean the headlight first with some Windex. You want to use like a glass cleaner to get all the grime off, all the crud off, all the road contaminants. And then we'll go ahead and wet it a little bit and then start sanding down. Let's go ahead and get started. Just regular household Windex. As you can see, we got a little bit of dirt off. We're going to use the tape that they gave us to mask off some of the areas. We will be using the drill on this, so certain areas like this you want to make sure gets masked off, so when you're going a little low, you don't burn the paint. And I was thinking about using some masking tape that I had in the house, but I want to use everything that comes in the kit, you know. Certain things you might have available, you know, maybe you got some extra painter's tape in the house you could use, but I want to use everything that's in the kit just to keep it fair for comparison's sake. And with this, the tape, you can squeeze in between the gap between the fender and the light itself. You can go ahead and save some tape on this side. You know, this is just a piece of rubber. Doesn't really matter. But I don't. Let me see if I can get you a closer look. Like, I'm not sure if you can see. From the last time we did the Meguiar's kit, you could see some of the lines, you know? Some of the lines coming this way, some of the lines coming that way. And I think with that kit, over time, when the headlights started to get a lot yellow, you could see a lot of the finer um, lines from the sanding pad that we used for that kit. And with that kit, it was more of hand use. We didn't use any drill. So we got the owner's manual here. One thing they say, don't use this on glass or glass headlight lenses. Back in the day, you know, earlier cars had glass lenses, but these are plastic. With the glass, if you use these sanding discs, you won't be able to get the same results. I don't think that stuff would buff out. Glass is a lot harder than the plastic, and this wouldn't be the kit for it. So they have some safety stuff in here, as well as, you know, tape everything off. Start with your 500 grit, your 800, and then your 3000 grit that they have. But these are the instructions, all the materials that come with it. Let's go ahead and get started. So first, what you're gonna do, you're gonna try to see the numbers on these. They're very faded, so this looks like it's 800, 800, 800, 800, and then we got 500 here, 500, 500, 500, 500. So it looks like it comes with 500s. Let's double check the material list. Oh, so it's supposed to come with 6 500 grit, 4 800, and then 2 3000. So it looks like they want you to do most of the work with the 500 grit, and you have 6. So for each headlight, you want to use 3. For the 800, they give you 4, so you want to use 2. And then the 3000 grit, very fine, they give you 2, so we'll be using 1 per light. So right now I'm using this Dewalt hammer drill. I know it's a little overkill, but I do like that this drill has a little handle like this, and it gives you a bit more control. And when you're drilling something for a long time, it doesn't fatigue your hand as much. You could control a lot of the weight with both hands. So just like any drill, you want to open up the chuck, tighten it by hand, and then use your key to tighten it. I'm going to start with the 500, and it has a little Velcro backing, just like any sanding pad that you would use. Cool. And one thing we're going to do, just so this doesn't cake up or fill up fast, we're going to wet it. So we're going to wet the light. As well as wet the pad. Let's go ahead and get started. So you want to do this very slow at first. And when you see stuff starts to look a little dry, go ahead and wet it down. And the first pass we did a horizontal, then we could do a vertical. Take the paper towel. See how the 500 looks. And you can see a lot of the yellowness wipe right off. So right now the light's scuffed up. We used the 500. Let's see if we could get a little bit more over here. We need to add some more water, as well as our pad still looks pretty clean. Swap out the pad. Make sure we're still using the 500. We'll do 2 passes with the 500, then we'll move on to the 800. Cool, so that was the 500. Let's move on to the 800. With the light, with the pad. Guys, this is a take 2 using the Sony a6500 in the summertime. This camera does overheat, so I guess 3/4 of the way into the process I didn't realize the camera shut off. I was only planning on recording 1 headlight, but as things go on, I have to record the other one now, but I want to show you how the first one did come out. So this is your before. I'm sorry, it's too hot. This is your after. I'm going to go ahead and use the kit on the second headlight, and I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to the camera and what the camera's doing, just to make sure that it doesn't overheat. So as you can see, I already taped it off. One thing I do recommend is wet sanding. This is Dollar Tree, Dollar Special. You saw how it worked on the other headlight. Can't explain how valuable this is, especially for a buck. Went ahead, taped everything off, trusty Windex, and I'm using paper towels for this stuff because I don't know how many of you guys actually have microfiber So when you live in New York, that's how your Amazon delivery sounds like. Alright, Amazon guy closed his door. And as you can see, we took off a lot of grime just by the Windex portion of it. A lot of bugs when you drive by, you know, get smacked into the headlight. You want to make sure all that stuff comes off. You want to get into little crannies of it, just so when you're sanding, your pad doesn't get clogged as fast, especially if you don't have a spray bottle, and especially if you're doing this stuff dry. And it looks like we have a little mark over here. When I'm sanding, I'm going to try to focus on that and see if we could get this mark out. Like, you see this line over here? So this is going to be a plus. If we can get this out of this headlight, this would be a major accomplishment. This one, and can you guys see that one? Yeah. I'm going to start the process. A little water, as well as your disc. And I've noticed when other guys were using this exact kit, their pads were clogging up very fast. But with the wet sanding, your pads won't clog up at all. So you see my first pass. I'm going to overlap about 50% off each pass. We're going to start off with the horizontal, come back with the vertical. So this was one side. As you can see, some of the corners, I didn't want to get too close, too fast. So we'll go ahead and try to get as close as we can. And you could always periodically spray your pad as well. When we're on the 500 grit, we'll be doing a lot of the cutting with that pad. So you will see a lot of the yellow come off in this process. And let's see. This pad still looks okay. Let's go ahead and wet this again. Cool, so that was our first round with our 500. Now we'll put our 800 on. Same process, wet the pad. Wet the light. Gonna go ahead and do our horizontal, come back with the vertical. Add some water on our pad. More on the light. We'll go back vertical. So that was our first pass with 800. Pad still looks good. Our 800 pad still looks pretty good. Gonna go ahead, switch off to the 3000. That's gonna be our last round until we do a compound. Let's go ahead and dry everything up. And as you can see, the headlight looks a lot, 10 times better what it was from before. Gonna use a dime size. Gonna splatter everything around, or spread. So go ahead and polish this out. For the last step, wiping it off, I'll use a nice clean microfiber. Harbor Freight Special. Get the rest of the compound off. So these are 14 years old and 15, 16 bucks, couple of minutes worth of time, and you can get yourself lights that look pretty decent. I like it. You see the difference this Harbor Freight kit did? For $14.99, couple minutes of your time, you can't beat this. And even if you want to do this for your truck to look good, it's also a safety aspect. You know, as time goes on, your headlights get yellow. The efficiency of your light projection, the way the light goes the farthest possible, is diminished. You might have, you know, 200 to 300 feet of visibility with some nice new headlights, and as years goes on, you can't see further enough. The light doesn't output as much it's supposed to output for safety regulations, so you can't see as far as you were able to see when you first got the car. So even if you don't want to do this for looks, do it for safety. You have a car that's a couple years old, gets a lot of sun exposure, your headlights will start to fade, will start to look yellow. And even if you don't want to do it for it to look nice, you know, just do it for the safety aspect of it. I live in a city where we have a lot of street lights, but if you're driving around some country roads, you should definitely do this where there's not that much light and it's very dark at night. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe and don't forget to like this video, and I'll put the link in the description for this kit that I used, and for $14.99 you really can't beat it. One thing that I would add to this kit is some sort of clear coat. You don't want to do all of this work. You don't want to sand with 3 rounds, as well as buff everything out, and then you don't want to have to leave it in that, you know, bare state. You want to seal those headlights. You want to use some sort of clear coat, some sort of UV protectant, where the work that you did should last you maybe about a year or two. Thanks guys for watching.